Welcome to Session 4 of our Discipleship Pathway Sunday School material. If you've been looking at the Discipleship Pathway during our study, you've probably noticed a little pattern. Discipleship is intentionally following Jesus in this good news. Then comes the question, what is this good news? Then what are the implications of this gospel or this good news? And then finally, how shall I order my life so that I can really live this thing? That's the pattern we've been living with. That's also pretty much the second page of the Discipleship Pathway. And it includes 6 elements of discipleship that are so crucial to our living the gospel. I like to say the second 3 elements make up a way of life that emerges from the gospel. The first 3 elements are patterns and practices which keep us grounded in that gospel. The first 3 elements of the life of discipleship come to us from what Jesus called the Greatest Commandment. You can find this teaching of Jesus in 3 of the gospel accounts of Jesus' life, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. We'll read from Mark's gospel today, chapter 12, verses 28 through 34. Let me set the stage just a little bit. Jesus is in Jerusalem, teaching in and around the temple. His teaching is challenging everything held dear by the most religious people of his day. They are confounded by him. As hard as they try, they cannot seem to dispute or contradict anything he says, even though Jesus is really critiquing what has become a very hardened and non-grace-filled understanding of the life of the people of God. A scribe walks up to Jesus. He's kind of a mid-level religious official steeped in the scriptures. He hears the arguments. He listens to Jesus for a bit, and he finally throws out his own question. In a world where the 10 Commandments have been expanded to 613 laws with 6 gazillion possible interpretations, this man wants a little clarity. We'd like a little clarity too. Let's see what Jesus gives him. Mark chapter 12. Verses 28 through 34. One of the scribes came near and heard them disputing with one another. And seeing that he answered them well, the scribe asked him, "Which commandment is the first of all?" Jesus answered, "The first is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." Then the scribe said to him, "You are right, teacher. You have truly said that he is one, and besides him there is no other. And to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the strength, and to love one's neighbor as oneself, this is much more important than whole burnt offerings and sacrifices." When Jesus saw that he answered wisely, he said to him, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." After that, no one dared ask him any questions. Which commandment is the first of all? It is no surprise that Jesus starts with the Shema from Deuteronomy 6, 4, and 5. The Hebrew people had these words written on the doorposts of their homes, had them attached to their bodies. It's the first thing a child learned to say, the first thing you say when you get up in the morning, and the last thing you say before you go to sleep at night. It's a cross between the Lord's Prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody knew it. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. Everyone in the crowd would have agreed wholeheartedly. There could be no possible dispute about this one, except that Jesus doesn't stop there. He reaches out to an obscure verse in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. You shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. He plucks it out and places it on the table right beside the defining marker of God's people. And he says, you can't have one without the other. In this moment, Jesus connects our most personal, formative relationship, our relationship with God, together with our relationship with all of humanity. Then he spins them together, an unbroken whole, a tightly braided cord that can never again be separated. Our friend, the scribe, is astounded. This is so much more important, he says, than all our religious doings. Take just a few moments and talk about that with your class.